T-Rex, an icon of the prehistoric, commonly regarded as the most well-known dinosaur. For its popularity, it's seen many interpretations. Some great, some not so much. But what we're going to do today is we'll cover a few T-Rexes and rank on how strong they are in the quest to find the strongest T-Rex character. Our competitors are the Jurassic franchise Rexy, King Kong's V-Rex, One Eye from Speckles the Tarbosaurus, Sharptooth from The Land Before Time, and Fang from Primal. Our first stat to look over is size. Rexy measures around 13.5 meters in length and 8.4 tons. The Tarbosaurus Rex is 15.2 meters in length, but it's not of a confirmed weight. To work out the weight, we compare to a realistic Rex, like Sue, who's 12.4 meters long and 8.4 tons. Then we divide the weight and height by 100 to get 1%, which is 84 kilograms per 0.124 meters. Then compared to the V-Rex, we then divide 15.2 meters by 0.124 to get 122.58. Then we times it by 84, which equals to 10,296, which gives the V-Rex just a weight over 10 tons. For One Eye, there's no actual size, but from looking at him, he does look slightly bigger than Tarbosaurus, so I'm going to give him the same size as Sue, 12.4 meters long and 8.4 tons in weight. Next, we have Sharptooth, who considerably dwarfs everybody. At 17 meters long and 13 tons, he is quite easily the largest Tyrannosaur we have so far. And finally, we have Fang. Her size in the show is very interchangeable. 1 second she's massive, 1 second she's about the size of a raptor, so it's kind of hard to tell. But from most scenes that I've seen, she does look a bit smaller than the average Rex. I'll say maybe 9 to 10 meters and 5 to 6 tons. Alright, now we have our actual stats. First is strength. For Rexy, her strength is not the most impressive. She loses to the Giga and Prologue, pretty much no diff at all. She killed two raptors in the first movie, but that's expected because it's two raptors. She beats the young Indominus Rex in a 2v1, which she 100% was going to lose if Blue didn't jump in. So don't know if that can be too much of a bonus for her. She beats the Carnotaurus, which again, massive size difference. Her bite actually doesn't kill it, even though she landed it on the neck, which you would have thought would have killed it instantly. But no, it's the weight of her standing on it actually kills it. She beats the Tarbosaurus again with high diff, which is quite shocking actually, considering she's 8.4 tons in weight and 13.5 meters in length, and the Tarbo is only 5.5 tons and 12 meters, so this should have been a very easy fight for her, but nonetheless she did win. Then she got slammed again by the Giga and Dominion, and if the fairy wasn't there, she would have died. So overall score, it's not looking great, so I'm going to put it in D tier. The next on the list is durability. Hers is actually not that bad to be fair, even though she does lose like 90% of the fight she's in, she still somehow gets back up. There was the Indom fight where she barely survived. She got tossed around by the Tarbo quite a lot. And then there's the pyroclastic flow, which she somehow survived. By the way, a pyroclastic flow can range from 800 to 1500 Celsius. So I don't really know how she survived that, but she did. She also fought the Giga twice. First time didn't go so well, and she got pretty much no diff in a couple of seconds. The second time, she also got no diff, but she did survive somehow with all the damage sustained, and managed to team on him with the fairy. So all in all, I think her durability is probably one of her best stats, and I think it deserves a solid A tier. The next stat is mobility, and I can't lie, she does not have a good mobility at all. For starters, she couldn't even catch up to a car, and then second of all, she couldn't even catch up to Claire Deering, who's wearing high heels. Which, if I'm honest, that's pretty bad, so it's a solid E tier. It's not great. And so finally, we have her intelligence. She managed to ambush the raptors, the galley, and the Carno, so she can definitely use her primal brain to hunt efficiently. She can also use the environment to her advantage, throwing dinosaurs into buildings and other dinosaurs. She also seems to kind of communicate with the dinosaurs, like with Blue after killing the I-Rex, and with the Ferry after killing the Giga. But other than that, shouldn't really have any amazing feats of intelligence. So I think I'm going to give it slightly above average and give her a B tier. So I think all in all, for all her stats added together, I'm going to give her a solid C tier. Because she's not amazing at anything, she's also not horrible, you know? I think she's in a good mid ground. Now we move on from Rexy and go on to the V-Rex. Strength. One of them slaughters a Photodon, but that's pretty much the same comparison as the Rexy versus the Raptors. They both have a massive size difference, so it's not really that impressive. So it's also said the V-Rexes wiped the Mega Primatus Kong to extinction, but if they were the main reason, it's unknown, because there's a whole variety of deadly creatures on Skull Island which could have led to the Kong's extinction, and like other primates, they have a slow reproduction rate, so if anything, the V-Rexes probably just outnumbered them massively, not overpowered them. It was also said, and I quote, "Injury and sickness is as lethal as any V-Rex." So I'm not too sure if V-Rexes were the overpowering force in why the Kongs went extinct. Also, to further back up what I said about them not being strong, we see Kong manhandle three of them at once in the movie, which ultimately results in all three of them dying. So I'm not sure if we can say they're actually that strong, because how do you lose a 3v1? That's actually kind of crazy. So overall, I do think they're a bit stronger than Rexy, so I'd say probably a solid C tier, just one tier above her. Durability. They were getting pummeled, like tossed around, slammed into the ground and walls, punched, kicked, thrown into each other, survived many great falls, and they just kept fighting. So I think their durability is pretty good. Not surviving a volcanic eruption good, but it's still pretty good. B tier. Mobility. One of them was struggling to catch Andaro in the jungle, but this could be due to the environment being hard to navigate possibly. It is stated it can reach speeds of 25 miles per hour over a short distance, but that's not really too impressive. But what they lacked in speed, they made up for being quite agile. Even though they're being hurled all over the place, they did manage to right themselves quite quickly. And even when they got tangled in the vine, they still somehow managed to be a threat to our characters. So overall I think again, slightly higher than Rexy, with a D tier. Intelligence. Well, they're all kind of inbred, so I don't really think they're that smart. E tier. So overall, they're getting a C tier, being slightly higher than Rexy, because I think in most stats, minus intelligence, they are slightly better than Rexy. Next, we have a personal favourite, the D1 hater himself, One Eye. Strength. He pushes a boulder several times larger himself off a cliff onto an Anki. He completely slams Speckles' mum. He pulls himself out of a tar pit, which literally sunk a raptor in seconds. He loses a 2v1 to Speckles and Blue Eyes, but let's be real here, Blue Eyes didn't do much, Red got slammed by One Eye, and Speckles the one that put in all the work. Then in the final act, him and Speckles fight, it's pretty close, but throughout the fight, One Eye focuses on Speckles' children, meaning Speckles can't focus all his attention on One Eye. We can see Speckles clearly has the upper hand, but only gets hit when he's off guard trying to protect his children, which One Eye sends to Mars. So I say that's probably a safe C tier for strength. Durability. He does survive his fair share of blows from Speckles and Blue Eyes. He does survive a bite from a Mose at the end, which is a bite force around 16,000 psi. And since the Mose is a lot larger, its head being around the same size as One Eye, I can see its bite force being larger, around maybe 25 to 30,000 psi. So it's definitely quite durable. I'd say low B tier. Mobility. He's seen running at the same speed as the Tarbosaurus, so it's about 20 miles per hour. But I kid you not, he also teleports. Like, that's the only explanation I have for the stuff he does. He pushes a boulder off a cliff, and then the next second he's in front of the Anki. And he also flings himself into the air at Speckles, like a WWE wrestler. So for mobility, S tier if you can teleport, D tier if we're being serious. Intelligence. He's easily one of the smartest Rexes on this list. He used the environment to his advantage with the boulder. He creates a dinosaur stampede to kill the Tarbosaurus pack. He outsmarts the ferry by getting its claw stuck in the tree. He does get tricked by young Speckles into going into the tar pit, but he manages to get himself out even though the tar pit ended the raptor in like 2 seconds. He also uses Speckles' children as an advantage during the fight so he can get the upper hand, and he also devoted his whole life to ruining Speckles. So in my opinion, that shows a strong amount of hate, or at the very least, dino racism. For intelligence, I'd say S tier. He's very smart. So overall, I'd say he's probably in high B tier or low A tier. Getting on to second of the last, we have the OG T-Rex menace, Sharptooth from Land Before Time. Strength. He uses his raw strength to smash through anything in his path, be it thorns, rocks, or Littlefoot's mum. He does get smacked around a lot by Littlefoot's mum, but ultimately he is the reason she perishes. While he's very strong and unpaired with his size, it makes him pretty formidable, so I'd say a solid A tier. Durability. He smashes through everything head first. That kind of says enough to see how good his durability is. But oh wait, there's more. He gets held by Littlefoot's mum several times into rocks and takes seemingly no damage at all, but his best feat by far is he falls at a minimum 5 kilometers on his back and survives. That's easily S tier in my opinion. Mobility. He's constantly throwing himself several meters into the air either to try and land on Littlefoot's gang, or just straight jump onto Mama Littlefoot's back. He's very mobile for his size, which is very surprising, so I'd say a good B tier. Intelligence. He's really, really dumb. He just relies on his overwhelming power to win every fight, opposed to his brains, and this ultimately leads to him getting outsmarted by the children many times in the movie, which eventually leads to his end. So overall, he's not very smart at all, so he definitely belongs in E tier. So overall, I think this powerhouse belongs in high A tier. Finally, we can now move on to our last Rex, which is Fang from Primal. Strength. By far, she has the most impressive portfolio of things she's brought down. The kaiju-sized horned tyrannosaur, mega snake, mammoth, giant elephant, a literal fire demon, countless raptors, snakes, and wild dogs, as well as humans on there too, with them being Egyptians, Babylonians, or even Vikings. If it showed up in the shirt, there's a high chance Fang fought it. Although I will say most of these creatures are taken down with spear alongside, so whether she can bring these down on her own is kind of up for debate. But even with that being said, she still has some incredible strength, like throwing bears her own size around like nothing, chomping people and animals in half, She has some incredible strength, but she does also lose her fair share of fights, like against the ape men and the Kamau. But the ape man was massively bigger than her, and Kamau is like an AOT titan. He was able to bring down a Kaiju elephant all on his own and took an arrow to the neck, as well as beating Spear, Fang, and Mira in a 3v1. So I don't think it's fair to say Fang is weak, it's just Kamau is incredibly strong. So for strength, I'd have to put her in at least A tier. Durability. She takes countless beatings from the ape men when she gets her leg broken, as well as taking wall slams, punches, kicks like a champ. From the Viking fight, she gets held with arrows, spears, axes, and even stabbed through the top of the skull, but somehow still keeps going. The mammoths also toss her around, crushing her between each other, and somehow she still lives the scenario. So durability is definitely getting an A tier. Mobility. Similar to Sharptooth, Fang hurls herself all over the place. She launches herself several times into the air to attack or escape. Unlike Sharptooth, she actually lands these attacks as well, showing she's way more agile. She maneuvers rough terrain easily, like the lava field in Plague of Madness. She keeps up with the raptors in the Blood Moon one, so she's definitely fast and agile, so she's 100% S tier for mobility. Intelligence. She seems to have similar intelligence to that of Spear, who's a caveman. She also shows emotions like grief, sadness, anger, and happiness, so this shows a great deal of emotional intelligence. As well, her and Spear can coordinate battle strategies together and make efficient plans, so I think it's only fair that we give her an S tier for intelligence as well. So overall, I think Fang is going in S tier, because she's quite literally better than everybody else in almost all stats. So overall, from all the Rexes that we have, Fang is the best in number 1 in S tier, then it's Sharptooth in A tier, then One Eye in B tier, then the V-Rex, then Rexy. If you think I got anything wrong, leave in the comments down below. But if not, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.